Night. It's me, Teaching here with the V.F.D, or vertical fire diversion. But anywho, today is another what is it called? Another setup style video. Instead of a saltwater tank, we will be taking a dive deep into the red claw crab habitat. I'm speaking in producer voice to annoy one of my friends. Please don't mind it. Don't mind the voice. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making a little storage section for the power head, because last time there was a whole bunch of bio balls and they got all stuck up in the power head, so I'm not doing that this time. And this is the foam block that I'm placing in right now in order, you'll see, it'll make sense when it all comes together. And I made a little notch for the power head cord to run through. It's working quite well. It's not just gonna be like sitting there. I'm actually gonna glue it in so it stays there, you know. And this is the cover to separate the bio balls from the dirt. You'll see what the design is as soon as it's done. And I probably should have edited this to make it shorter, because I think I end up like doing a lot of cutting. But while I have you, and while we're waiting for my slow self to realize that that is too big to fit into the crab tank, I'm just gonna say that this video is no, I'm just kidding. We're not sponsored. But what I will say, dang it, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the background. There's a 3D printer. I thought about making a 3D printer channel, but I said no. Also in the background are 2 saltwater tanks. The saltwater tank is almost done cycling. It's got about a week left, and I put up the finger so I can go and grab, like the pointer finger, not the other finger, so I can go and grab a knife so I can cut this foam piece to size. And update on the vampire crab habitat soon. But as for now, this is the red claw crab habitat. Starting fresh and clean and new with the new crab habitat. It's quite auxiliary. That's a word, right? Auxiliary, yeah. Quite exhilarating making a new crab habitat. I put a lot of effort into the design of this one, and I think it worked out quite well. I'm adjusting the camera here, and I'm cutting. Little did I know that I'll be cutting like 3 more times, because that's still too short. That knife is just like a standard box cutter knife, you know, to cut boxes, but I'm cutting foam with it, so I'm savage. And what I did is I took a piece of insulator foam and I cut out a box and I spray painted it and glued mesh to it so that water could seep through, but dirt could not seep through. And I'm going to have to be cutting it again. So yes, so that the water can drain into the HydroBall layer, but the dirt cannot. So you don't get like a mess of dirt. It's quite handy. And for the back cover on the power head, it's basically the same thing. Water can get through, but the bio balls can't. That was a problem, that the bio balls were getting stuck in the power head. So I made a little house for it. There's also a cutout in the little platform thing. I don't know what to call it. The little foam sheet that I'm pressing down. The cutout for that is for the water feature. The waterfall, if you will. It's going to look quite handy. And I'm just an idiot. I'm an absolute retard because I can't cut it to the right size. And it's already been like 4 minutes of me cutting this one piece of foam. Don't worry, I'll get it, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me, I think it's a few more minutes. I don't know. But I've taken all of my knowledge from my previous crab tank designs and I've compiled them into this design to hopefully make the most optimum. That's the word, right? Optimum. Yes, the most optimum design. I swear optimum. That doesn't sound right. Optimal. Yes, to make the most optimal design. Yes. All of my knowledge into this here crab tank. And I'd say it works quite well. So now I'm stripping the foam of any excess foam because I just cut it. I probably should have used sandpaper, but I didn't have any I did not have any on me at the time. And I don't want to waste your... That's funny, I'm already wasting your time right now. But at the time, I didn't want to waste your time, so I just used my hand as sandpaper. And as you see, it's highly effective. And I'm going to place it in. placing it in. And yes, I said that's good. Now I'm pushing the house for the. Ooh, you probably got a glimpse of my nose. Yeah, and this is the foam piece. I think I'm gonna pull it out and show you. Yes, foam piece. I took a tube, and I ran it through, and then did a mesh screen, and then I also did a cutout for the water feature. I did a mesh screen so that the the water could pass through, but the crabbies couldn't get in, and the bio balls also wouldn't spill over. You can see that the design is starting to take form. On the left side of the foam is where the bio balls are going to be housed, and on top of the foam board is where the dirt is going to be. And on the right side of the foam is going to be sand and rocks. And maybe some live plants. Spoiler. I hate spoilers. I'm sorry for spoiling you. Wait, spoil? That doesn't sound right. But this is the water feature, carved out of insulator foam and glued together layer by layer with hot glue. That is going to be the glue that I'm using. I didn't use silicone because it takes like super long to dry, and I was on a time limit of like 4 hours. I used up all of my time limit, plus like 2 days to build this. Last time it took me like 20 minutes, and that's what went wrong. Time is key. Now I'm cutting the hose short so that it can fit on the nozzle of the power head. I will not be putting the link to the power head in the description because it doesn't work very well, honestly. So as you can see, I removed the house and I removed the piece of foam, and I don't know what I'm doing actually. I think I'm just doing some more fitting. Yeah, the more measurements you take, the less confident you'll be, but the more precise you'll be. That is surely not. Yeah, I came up with that on the spot. But yes, that is the housing for the power head. And then there's a few slots for the cord to pass through in both the housing of the power head and that piece. Yeah, that piece right there. Now I'm pressing it in and failing miserably, but after I press it in correctly, then I'm pushing the foam against it, and I think after this scene it cuts to like way later. But essentially now I think you're gonna get a glimpse of my hair, maybe. But I'm trying to fit yep, there it is, that's my hair. I'm trying to fit the pipe onto the power head, and I think I just did it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you see the idea. The power head takes the water, spits it up, and it flows down. You'll see the waterfall in greater detail later on in the video. And now I have water in it to test the power head, and I've made a grave mistake that you're about to see. It's going to be very funny. Like, super funny. Or at least I cracked up laughing. I don't know about you. This power head is like 120 gallons per hour, which is a problem, as you'll see. Okay, I ended up fixing it, and this is the next scene, and I'm pouring the bio balls in after I've placed a foam block in. I also placed that heater, and actually everything is glued down. There's a lot that I skipped in the scene because of how boring it is, but yes, the housing is glued in, the foam block is glued in, and I placed in that heater, and there was a giant mess of water, so that's why there's a towel in the background. Yeah, and I ended up using more bio balls than what you see here, because you want the bio balls to fill up to the level of the housing, like the foam, not the foam block, but the housing for the power head. You want it to fill up all the way to it, not spill over, but fill up. And you also want a bit of space. It'll make sense in a minute. So I've done a lot in this scene. I've placed rocks down, I've placed the thing down, and now I'm placing sand in. The thing as in the foam board, and then I placed the water feature on top of the foam board and connected it. And I've drained all the water, and now I'm pouring sand. I did this off camera. I don't know why I did it off camera, but I did do it off camera. Now I'm pouring the sand. You want to pour enough sand so that it covers the heater so it doesn't look ridiculous. like there's just a heater sticking out. I go for all natural, and I tried to hide like all the the stuff that's man-made, like the foam block. Oh, and you'll also want rocks. They don't have to look like that, but they have to be rocks so that they can hold the foam board in place, so that the bioball layer doesn't spill over into the water. I've had that happen before, and it's not very pleasing. So now I'm pouring in the sand, making sure it's all nice and tidy. And this is like starting the assembly of the crab tank, basically. I've gotten all the main components in, and now it's, well, not all of them. I'm pretty sure there's 2 more components, the dirt and the water, and then the fine detailing. But as you can see, it's all coming together, and you might have to, if you're building this for your own self, you might have to play it back, because you probably entered and thought this makes no sense, but by the end you will see it is beautiful, and it is amazing, and it is a crab habitat. And I'm trying to pour some sand into a gap so that they can't crawl down in. I was unsuccessful, but I did pour some sand, so it's not like rock bottom. I didn't get it because it's rocks. I meant glass. Now I'm adjusting the sand. I like the sand to look pretty. I don't know how much longer I adjust this. This video oh jeez, that's a lot of sand. I think I ended up using it all. Yeah. You want a decent amount of sand, because if you plan to do live plants, then they like media to dig in, and so do the crabbies. They don't want like a shallow layer of sand. They want a deep layer of sand. And they prefer sand over any type of other substrate because it's soft on their little legs. I've had a crab break its legs because it was on gravel. And the pet store actually has like super cheap like blue gravel. I hate blue gravel so much. But now this is the next scene, and I'm pouring the water in. There it goes. I'm not very good at pouring. But yes, the water is pouring in. And you want the water to go to the top of the bioball section, like as high up as the bioballs are, is as high as you want the water to go, so that it doesn't overflow like a flood the dirt, and then it becomes just like a dirty mush of mud. You do want some soil hydration though, for any live plants that you might be adding, hint hint, but not like overdoing it. And as you can see in the back, I've got the pump up and working. I had to place a foam block in front of the power head so that it wouldn't suck up as much water and push out like an actual fountain. So now I'm adding dirt. This takes me a decent amount of time. I'm adding the dirt. ASMR dirt adding the dirt. I'm sticking my foot down into the back. ASMR, yeah, I don't know why. If you want an ASMR crab tank setup, let me know. Not in the comment section. Not there. In person. Yeah. In person, let me know. If you want ASMR crab tanks. Let me know. In person and not in the comment section. Speaking of, if you haven't already, make sure that you go and take out the trash, because I'm sure your mom will really appreciate it. Yes, it was random. But I'm adding the dirt, and I cut this scene short because of how long it is and how precise I am with adding dirt. But I do cut it. I just don't know when. I'm adding the dirt. As you can see, it's all coming together. The water feature is flowing down into the water nicely. The bioball layer is a nice filtration media and beneficial bacteria. So now that you see, I have placed all of the dirt in on both sides. And now I am placing moss. I'm not certain what type of moss this is. I'm sure you could help me by telling me in person. But it's some type of moss, and it looks nice. Saltwater tank in the background. Part 3 coming as soon as it's done cycling. Has like a week left. I've already said that, haven't I? Yes, I have. And well, take a while adding the moss. I'm almost done. Oh, the reason it's taking me so long is because, like, I have to soak the moss in water before adding it. It's good for the moss and stuff. You can see the camera lens in the reflection. I mean, the glare. I just noticed that. And I'm a very precise moss adder. Yes, that is a word. Don't look into it. But yes, very precise. I'm adding moss. It's taking a long time. I think I do cut this clip short. But after I add all the moss, I do some fine tuning, and then time to add the little crabbies. I didn't cycle the water, but I think they're okay. They're coming from a pretty shady pet store known as PetSmart, and they didn't keep them in this. Maybe I could take a picture and put it in the next video. But either way, oh look, there's my cat in the reflection. Well, it's not my cat, that's the other cat. That's the bad cat. Nobody likes that cat. But maybe the scene ends soon. I want it to end already. I'm adding the moss and it takes me so long to dunk it in water and place it. And I don't even know what type of moss it is. I just went to ASMR mode and I didn't even know. But as you can see, the soil is like super dry right now. That'll change shortly. And I also want to say that red claw crabs have a tendency to like screw things up, like hardcore. They eat all of your vegetation. They destroy your land. They make your water all dirty. It's not a fun experience. So that's why you have to take extra precautions so that they can't. And live plants for these guys, especially since they've never seen live plants before because they were living in a crappy Petco. They don't like or I'm pretty sure they like them because of how good they taste. Yeah, they eat the live plants. So now it's the next day. I've added lucky bamboo. I've added the peacock fern. I've added some plants in the water. It's all luscious. It's been growing over, and now it's time to add the red claw crabs. There's a rock in the background. I did a lot of fine tuning, and yeah, it's like a day later. And these are the red claw crabs. I don't know the scientific name. That's boring. There's no need to know the scientific name unless you're like a Latin guy or something. But these are them. These are the red claw crabs. I think there's 1 male and 2 female, which is the perfect ratio. I suggest a ratio of 1 male to 3 female, and I could probably fit 2 to 3 more red claw crabbies in this crab tank, but I decided to go with just 3 for now. And this guy, I don't have names for them, so if you have any names, make sure to drop them out of your head and in my face. Like, tell me in person. Yeah, that guy didn't go too gracefully. But yes, if you have any name suggestions, then tell me personally, that is. And I dropped some pebbles, and I'm just removing these now. Whoop, there's one. What they do is they track dirt, like dirt gets stuck to them, and then they go down into the water portion. It's a nightmare for the water. There's the other one. And did I get any clips of the other one? I don't know. I'm not certain. But yes, that just about wraps up today's video, and you can see the camera in the reflection. That really bothers me, as you can see. Okay, never mind. But yes, that's one. I added some grass, monkey grass or something. I can't remember what type of grass. But I added that grass to the water section in order to use the crabbies' nutrients to grow, which is nice. And they end up tearing that up. They end up tearing up that peacock fern. This is a day later, and as you can see, there is condensation due to the Hermit-heater. I highly recommend one of those. They love the humidity. And then this here is the peacock fern. It's dying, but the waterfall is going well. And the moss, they tore up the moss. Like there's barely any left. And the soil is well hydrated, though. I suppose that's the price. Anywho, that's all, but goodbye.